This week on Outdoor Oklahoma, for the hunter, spring means turkey season. And today we're doing just that as we head out west to one of the country's premier public land destinations for Rio Grande turkeys. Right now on Outdoor Oklahoma. Well, hello and welcome to Outdoor Oklahoma. I'm Todd Craighead. The Black Kettle National Grassland and Wildlife Management Area is one of the best places in the country for public land Rio Grande turkey hunting. Back in 2012, a cooperative effort between the U.S. Forest Service, the National Wild Turkey Federation, and the Wildlife Department began to improve the habitat at Black Kettle by thinning out under roost sites and conducting controlled burns and removing eastern red cedars. Well, today we're going to join three men from all three of these organizations as they get to experience firsthand the fruits of their labor and enjoy a classic Western Oklahoma Rio Grande turkey hunt.
I'm Marcus Thibodeau. I'm a wildlife biologist for the Oklahoma Department of Wildlife Conservation. I manage Black Kettle, Pack Saddle, and Ellis County WMAs. Today we're at Black Kettle WMA. It's also a national grassland that we manage cooperatively with the U.S. Forest Service.
I'm Todd Stewart, a wildlife biologist for USDA Forest Service at the Black Kettle National Grasslands.
Gene T. Miller, district biologist for West Texas and Oklahoma with National Wild Turkey Federation.
And today we're going to go out and do a little turkey hunting, talk about turkey habitat, and see some of the turkey habitat restoration that we've done cooperatively with the U.S. Forest Service and with the National Wild Turkey Federation.
Well, yesterday and today we've been on a little tour looking at some habitat areas and dressed in camouflage and carrying shotguns and turkey collars, trying to see if we can get an old turkey up and enjoy some of the fruits of our labor.
The Black Kettle is a unique area. It's one of the two grasslands found in Oklahoma that are owned by the Forest Service, and it was acquired back in the Dust Bowl era, and which brings us to a very unique situation of having 30,000 acres that are non-contiguous and broken up into over 100 units.
Now, whether or not we can get him called up on camera or not,
Yeah.
you know, we may get him called up and killed. As to whether or not he gets ideally recorded on the camera, we've been here 45 minutes.
Yeah.
I would have thought
If we go up there.
if the turkey would have been interested, we'd have heard him gobble a time or two by now.
Yeah. You might just have to go try one of those other ones. So just this one unit that we're on is right around 1,200 acres, and that's part of our problem is that they've got so much habitat, so much space to work through, and so we might even just try to go to another unit. We've got over 100 different units on Black Kettle, and all of them pretty good opportunities. So lots of options to choose from.
Many gobblers, like the one that we heard this morning, one or more that we heard this morning, hens roosted right with them. Gobblers following hens up into the middle of the day, and so rather than early morning or late evening up until the 7 p.m. cutoff time, for hunting here on Black Kettle, the middle of the day may end up being a preferred time when gobblers are out loafing around by themselves. Maybe they're moving around a little bit, hens have gotten away from them, they're in the process of laying now, and so that if they are by themselves, then they become very vulnerable, and it's a good situation for the all-day hunter who wants to stay in the woods and be hunting basically from the time he or she leaves the vehicle until they get back to the vehicle, and vigilant and listening, listening, that's very important, and staying camouflaged, using the natural terrain and brush out here to be able to hear one of these birds or elicit a gobble from a good place, a good calling position, to be able to get one of these birds fired up and get them to respond and come to the call in the middle part of the day when they're not with hens.
Well, we're shooting for our Grand Slam. We were in South Dakota last year and got our Miriams, and now we got our Rio Grande, so Osceola is next, I guess.
First long beard of my life.
Well, Merv roosted him last night, watched him fly up, and we got in there tight this morning. Got between these two and had these two on one side of us and had some hens on the other, and got right in between them, put out a couple decoys, and they came in right away on a string. You shot him at what, 6:45?
6:45. I shot first. I don't know that I hit him the first time, but he gave me a second shot and made it count.
Yeah, followed up on the other one. Well, they say the Eastern is the hardest, but I mean, well, that's what we hunt back home. But I tell you what, these things out here were tough. They were just as tough as any Eastern I've ever hunted. So,
what a beautiful example to have made a big round from way before day in the morning, trying to get down to a roost area, hearing some gobbling birds, not being intimately familiar with the compartment, so it taking us a little time to navigate around to try to get on birds, and then they decide to go the opposite direction. So an hour and a half later, after a large round of perhaps a couple of miles, to come out downstream, if you will, on a road at a hunt camp, and to be able to walk into a hunt camp where we were greeted, we were welcomed by fellow hunters from, of all places, Pennsylvania, Lancaster, Pennsylvania. And 2 of those 4 buddies in the hunt had successfully scored on a couple of nice mature gobblers just that morning. So we were able to visit with them, welcome them. They were very complimentary of the grasslands and our work, of the Forest Service, of the Wildlife Department, and several of them were happened to be sporting National Wild Turkey Federation caps.
The Black Kettle National Grasslands is a destination because it's the largest block of public land in Oklahoma that has probably the highest population of Rio Grande subspecies of turkeys. So those hunters who are wanting to do the Grand Slam and not at a high cost, they come to our area.
And we see that every year with our turkey hunter numbers growing and growing. And it's earned the reputation that Black Kettle has as being one of the premier turkey hunting spots, not only in Oklahoma, but in America.
Hey, look at all this scratching in here.
Yeah,
look at all of this fresh scratching. And we know these birds were here yesterday, and we know that they've been being seen in here in this vicinity. Look at all of this fresh scratching. Let's look at this. Let's look at this. There's a fresh dropping. That dropping's not more than a day old. These are real fresh.
I think we should set up here.
These are real fresh right here. Here's one, real fresh. Let me put this strutter out here, and we'll put the hen about 6 or 7 feet away from him.
Okay.
And you can set up over there. I'll fade back in the brush over there.
Alrighty. We'll try to get them to come down.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know how far they are over there, but before this wind picks up anymore. All right, we're set. These are a little close, but I'm gonna fade back here. Good luck, good luck.
We'll get her done.
He couldn't stand it. They liked that old lynch box, didn't they? Hey, he's a nice one.
Got her done.
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome.
Yeah, he couldn't stand it, that old Alabama lynch box, huh?
So of course I was pretty nervous when these 3 toms walked in because I've never shot a turkey on film before and I didn't want to miss. And it was really nice just to see this full thing, this full habitat restoration work come full circle.
That's a 2-year-old. It's a 2-year-old, nice beard. Nice beard, sharp spurs, about a 9-inch beard. Looks like he'd been strutting. And he had those other 2 with him.
Oh yeah.
This hunt is not atypical at all. I've been doing this wildlife conservation work as a professional almost 40 years now, and this is not atypical. It's not a gimme, it's not easy. You, as the old feller says, you pays your money and takes your chances. You do homework on public lands. You go and you put in with everybody else, and you get out there and strive to get right on some birds. Sometimes it works right, sometimes it doesn't.
Congratulations.
Awesome, thank you. Thank you so much. It's always great hunting with you.
You deserve it. You deserve it. Well, that's some of the fruits of the labor right there, buddy. Fruits of the labor. Nice rear grand turkey.
Patience is important. You have to trust in your calling ability and make sure that you're set up correct so that hopefully everything lines up for you.
My future hopes for Black Kettle is to continue what we're doing, maintain what we already have done, and to just continue to provide these opportunities for Oklahoma and out-of-state hunters.
All right, well, let's get him.
Let's go get you one.
Yeah, I hear you. We better check him and
Yeah.
we better check him and tag him.
Put his tag on him real quick and then check him in online.
Fix him up.
Never been out here before, or if you have and you're wondering if you should come back, just know that we're doing everything we can at the state level, the federal level with the Forest Service, and even nonprofit with NWTF to work to provide these opportunities for Oklahoma and out-of-state hunters.
The way for hunters to be successful on any public land, and not especially Black Kettle National Grassland, we have the spring turkey season is also some erratic weather times, so hunters need to be mindful of the weather, keep a pace on the weather. It can go from a beautiful, gorgeous blue sky, calm, very pleasant day to very high temperatures sometimes, and the wind howling, and sometimes the little funnel cloud gets started. So hunters need to, just like being in physical condition, making sure that they have their licenses, making sure that they're adequately hydrated, that they have comfortable footwear, that they're mindful of the Wildlife Department's latest regulations, like the 7 p.m. closure on the evening hunting here on this area, proper tagging of the animal once the turkey is harvested. Those are all things that a hunter needs to be very mindful of, but especially the weather. And then for those dedicated hunters that don't think it's all about first thing of the morning, last thing of the evening. If conditions permit, if it's not howling the wind so hard that you just can't stay in out in the block of timber somewhere, midday hunting can be very fruitful and very productive on this grassland.
Well, that hunt is just about as good as a turkey hunter can ask for. You know, I'm sure you noticed that Gene pointed out some specific regulations for Black Kettle, as well as many of our other wildlife management areas. So before heading out to public land this year, be sure to consult the Oklahoma Hunting Guide. Now, for those of you just starting out turkey hunting, let's catch back up with Gene for some calling tips.
For the beginning turkey hunter, I would just simply say that you're assaulted. You're assaulted by all of the call manufacturers and the shiny paper magazines and the Outdoor Channel and all of the modern advertisements for you must have the best one of each one of these calls, and you must have decoys, and you must have a certain camo, and you must have all of the stuff. Well, I'm guilty. I'm a traditionalist. All of this stuff that I have, this little array of traditional friction and tube type calls that I'm going to briefly discuss with you today, all fit in my turkey vest, which is a fanny pack, which contains everything that you're going to see here, some extra rubber bands and pins and candy in case you have a stretchy throat, and some chewing gum, maybe a small water, a couple of extra shells. That's it. Fits in a fanny pack. So whatever kind of arrangement for toting your stuff that you feel comfortable with, whatever kind of collar that you're most comfortable with, making a reasonable facsimile of a plain yelp or a plain cluck, basically what's needed to kill a wild turkey gobbler with, call a turkey up in the spring and kill it. That's what you should use. I'll just go through several items here. First, we'll talk about, and again, I'm a traditionalist. These are going to be just a small selection of tube type calls and friction type calls, but a small homemade wing bone tube type call. This is the actual, this is the radius. This is a small bone out of a wild turkey wing bone, married to a rifle cartridge, an empty rifle cartridge. And this is a very high pitched call. Sometimes it works when something else doesn't. It's very good for clucking and yelping at low volumes, and it sounds something like this. Plain cluck, plain yelp. Plain cluck and plain yelp of a wild turkey. That's very high pitched. It's a high volume. Can be very effective at times when other calls won't. Next is a typical wing bone that you may see. This is made out of a jake, a juvenile gobbler. Again, the radius and the ulna, little bone, middle-sized bone out of the wing, the middle section of the wing between the wrist and the elbow, if you will, on the bird. And this call is a very high volume call. Again, this can be used to make the plain cluck and the plain yelp of a wild turkey hen. This can also be used for fall calling as well as spring calling. and a lot of times even a traditional fall call, the kiki run, the kiki or kiki run of a young turkey. A lot of times you'll hear immature gobblers do this, and mature gobblers will respond to it as well. So let's first do just a sample of a plain cluck on this little bit different wing bone. And then a plain yelp. 5, 6, 7, 8 notes. That's a high volume call. Again, turkeys will respond to different calls at different times, sometimes better with a slate, a box call, a mouth diaphragm, which I do not happen to own one of, wing bone. Let's demonstrate a little, if I can, a little fall call, a little kiki run of a young turkey in the fall. Sometimes mature gobblers will respond to that in the spring when nothing else works, even including stopping calling. There's such a thing as calling a turkey too much, and a lot of you may experience that. Let's go to a traditional slate. This is a wooden slate, a wooden rectangular box on a piece of slate. This is about 1/8 of an inch, or actually about 1/16 of an inch. And this is a corncob striker. I'm not sure what this wood is, but this will make this is very, very, very adept at purring. Quietly purring, clucking. A very soft tree yelp. Purring, everything's okay. Cluck. Also, some loud cutting sometimes get gobbler excited. Loud cutting. Okay, and then probably some of the most familiar is just the cedar box call. This particular box call is made by a gentleman who's no longer with us, Mr. Harry Snowden. This is made on the 1st of February of 2000. This is a handmade call made out of walnut, maple, and butternut hickory. Walnut, maple, and butternut hickory. Small box, fits in your pocket real well. Again, cluck. And the plain yelp of a wild turkey hen. Notice the double syllable, that kelk, 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 kelk double syllable that's so typical of hens. Cluck. And then a plain yelp. No pressure applied here either. Then this is probably my favorite call. This is given to me by a late friend and turkey hunting mentor of mine from Arkansas. This is an old Birmingham, Alabama made back in the days of old man Mike Lynch, Mr. Mike Lynch, the late Mike Lynch, who was the original proprietor of M.L. Lynch Turkey Call Company. And this is one of the ones that says Edgewood Boulevard in Birmingham, 9, Alabama. But it's just old and seasoned and raspy and makes for a good cluck and a yelp that gobblers sometimes can't resist. That's about all you need to kill a wild turkey if he's ready to come.
Hey, thanks for joining us today, and be sure and connect with us on social media when you have a chance. For all of us at your wildlife department, I'm Todd Craighead, and we'll see you right here next time on Outdoor Oklahoma.